Sixers fans, this has been an insane morning. I wake up at 10 a.m. and the first thing I see when I open up my Twitter feed is a possibility of Ben Simmons to the Boston Celtics. A couple hours later, after all of these speculations, basically a sure thing that the Sixers are getting Jaylen Brown. I was setting my tickets to the NBA Finals. I thought Jaylen Brown was in Philadelphia. I thought it was a done deal. I was celebrating. I was out in the streets. I cracked the brewski open, pounded one down. I was celebrating. Turns out, it's not true. Maybe it was a fake source. It has been a roller coaster of a morning. Let's talk about it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I want to hit 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. That's the only thing I want for Christmas. So if you could hook up me with 1,000 subscribers, let Santa Claus know. I don't know. So it originally comes out, it's a Shams report, right? Shams is talking about, there's interest in Ben Simmons going to Boston. Boston's heavily interested in Ben Simmons, and I'm immediately shit-talking all of my Celtics friends who I heavily shit-talk to. And now, after years of them talking shit on Ben Simmons, I am now giving it back to him. I'm like, yeah, well, now it's your problem. You're dealing with Ben Simmons because Shams did it. If Shams tweets it out, you know it's a real thing. And then I see later in the tweet that the only way of involving Ben Simmons to Boston is Jaylen Brown to Philadelphia. And I went ballistic. I mean, I can put up a tweet on my video right here, or here, I don't know. And I was extremely happy. I mean, what better way to Philadelphia and Daryl Morey just to win in the city of Philadelphia than to ship Ben Simmons to Boston? Now it's coming out that it may not be true, which I believe, but I still believe that there is interest on the Boston Celtics side. This type of stuff doesn't just come out if there isn't interest, and I am a firm believer of that. I am a firm believer of where there is smoke, there is fire. I always say that when it comes to Ben Simmons, especially because there's been a lot of rumors coming out over the past couple of months, and I always believe where there is smoke, there is fire, which means I do believe that the Celtics are interested. And does that mean I think they're interested in trading Jaylen Brown? Probably not, right? But I think they're interested. I think Boston would like to have a guy like Ben Simmons. Defensively, Boston sucks. I mean, they've been really bad for a couple of years now, and I just think it would be poetic justice of Ben Simmons in Boston playing next to Josh Richardson and Al Horford. I mean, how funny would that be, guys? I think it would be hilarious. And the only thing is that I don't think personally Boston would be able to match salaries. And one of my buddies on the Celtics fan is saying the only possible trade he would do is Marcus Smart for Ben Simmons. And I'm like, dude, the undervaluing reports on Ben Simmons have been so out of this world lately. I mean, dude, people forget how good he is. They really do. I hate the guy way more than you, but that being said, he's still a great player. He's still a 3-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year runner-up. I mean, he's still a 6'10" point guard who does things that we haven't really seen been done in a long time. So he's going to get a good value, and it's just, what is the value going to be? Past couple of days, seeing the Sixers team become 8-2 with basically no one healthy, and now Embiid out for 10 days, I'm kind of selling myself on the idea of just a couple really good players, but no great players as a return for Ben Simmons. One example would be DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, a combination of the three of them. I think that would be fantastic. DeJounte Murray is he's an all-world defender when he's at his peak, and he's a great defender when he's not at his peak. He is a super young kid who is steadily growing every single year. He's progressing. He's getting better every single year. He is an elite playmaker, a defender, as I said, a great rebounder for his position. And I think he gives us 15, 16 points a night at 35% from three, which is not great, especially the point guard position. But as I've said before, 35% is better than 0% that Ben Simmons would bring. We could still run a 5-out offense. DeJounte Murray is a guy who can create shots for others really well. I like that. Keldon Johnson is a guy who can create his own shot at a very high clip off the bench. He is a hustler, rebounder, a dude who does scrappy work. I've always slated Keldon Johnson as a glue guy type of dude that can be huge on championship winning teams. Lonnie Walker is a 3-and-D absolute athletic freak. I think that puts the Sixers right up at the top for best teams in the NBA if the Sixers can pull that off. I then go over to other teams, I think a way of getting Miles Bridges would be interesting for the Philadelphia 76ers. I think there are teams that are that could use Ben Simmons, especially now. I think Indiana is an interesting team. I think Indiana has shown interest in the past, and I think the interest is still there. I think an idea of LeVert, maybe TJ Warren when he comes back, there's possibilities there. I think there's a possibility of Ben Simmons to a lot of teams. I think a sleeper team is Atlanta. I think Atlanta is probably one of the deeper teams in the NBA. And I think Atlanta is struggling this year. And if they want to expedite the process, I think it would make sense to trade a couple of guys for a caliber dude like Ben Simmons. I'm not saying that's where he's going to go. I'm not saying any of this. It's not even speculation. This is just my personal opinion, looking around the league and seeing what teams are struggling and what teams could make a move. Brandon Ingram, I don't love the fit, obviously, of Ben Simmons and Zion in New Orleans, but the clock is sincerely ticking in that city to make that man happy. So, you know what I mean? We would have to see. Dude, imagine a pick and roll of Zion and Ben. They would be going under to like the 10th degree. No one would be letting them inside. But at the same time, they're going to force their way inside because they're two of the strongest dudes at their positions in the NBA's history of basketball. But I think there is interest of the Boston Celtics in Ben Simmons. I think it makes a lot of sense. The Boston Celtics are not good. They're not a good team. They have no identity, and I think that's one thing that really kills them, especially on the defensive end. And Marcus Smart's not that guy anymore. If Marcus Smart is your lead vocal dude in the locker room, you're in trouble. And I think Brad Stevens, as a new GM, could make an impulse decision to go get a guy like Ben Simmons. And if somehow the Sixers could return Jaylen Brown, think of that. Think of the possibility of trading a guy who is the 5th best player on our team that no one gives a shit about, that we've been winning 8 games with in the first 10 games of the year without, if that makes sense. Sending him to Boston would immediately make us a better team. But then taking their best player, arguably their best player, their best two-way player probably, that would be probably the biggest steal in NBA history. You would imagine. If Ben Simmons doesn't improve and continues to play at the level that he's playing, that would probably be the biggest steal ever. So I am going to be waiting until we see Ben Simmons traded. Jaylen Brown's out for like a week or two right now with an injury, but dude, imagine, guys. Imagine. It's like John Lennon. Imagine. I'm going to be streaming tonight. Make sure you stop by. Last stream was a shit ton of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Sixers are going to be playing New York with like everyone injured or hurt or sick. So it's going to be the Tyrese Maxey show of 2019 when he put up 39 or something against the Nuggets. It's going to be the, who else we got? George Niang and Andre Drummond. Dude, what else do we need? That's the crew right there. If the Sixers win tonight, I'm going to lose my shit. I've lost my shit the last 3 games, but I'm going to like lose my shit on like a higher level if the Sixers win tonight. On that note, peace out, guys. Go Sixers.